Hey Jay, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Mark. Far away.
How come Carter's always sliding around in Deep Blue Sea?
Wow.
And how come Preacher has a bird in the kitchen?
I think...
Should Janice have won an Oscar for all that exposition?
Yeah, I
Who
mean...
did the sharks hate the most? How far did Jim travel underwater?
About...
Why do they keep calling Brenda Tower?
Mark, please, we've already covered all of these topics and many, many more on Deep Blue Sea, the podcast.
You mean the podcast where we analyze Renny Harlin's 1999 masterpiece, Deep Blue Sea, chapter by chapter?
Exactly! Find it everywhere podcasts can be found.
Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that when he's in New York, he's frank, and when he's in Chicago, he's earnest. It's Kiyon.
What up? Thank you for having me again. What's going on, people?
No, after the success of the Blade 2 and Villainess episodes, I'm like, I gotta bring back Kiyon here to talk about some Long Kiss Goodnight, because we love this movie.
That is so what's up. Shout out to all the people out there listening. That's like so super dope. And yeah, I appreciate it, man. I love talking movies with you. It's fun. It's fun times, good times. You know what I mean?
I like the funkiness of our picks. I mean, we didn't opt for Blade. We went for Blade 2.
Yes.
And then we went straight to the Villainess, which you recommended, and I'm very happy I watched, and I've been preaching about it everywhere I go. And now the Long Kiss Goodnight. And I'm going to say something crazy here, right? Mm-hmm. Renny Harlin has made some excellent action films. You know, I've dedicated an entire podcast to Deep Blue Sea. So we do the Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. Yes. I'm
very familiar with that.
Oh, I love it. And it's doing really well. And I've long talked about Cliffhanger. I've talked about, we just recorded for, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. We've talked about
Die
Hard 2. And just his, his latest stuff, Devil's Pass or Skip Trace, I've enjoyed. I've really just enjoyed Driven, we recorded an episode about. I'm really trying to cover every Renny Harlin film. And what I think, though, about this movie, the 1996, The Long Kiss Goodnight, written by Shane Black of Lethal Weapon, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Nice Guys.
Shane Black, yes.
I think it's his most underappreciated film.
Yes. It's, you know what? It's like one of my, honestly, it's like my top 5 kind of 90s action films, and I feel like it is such an underappreciated gem. It's so underrated in terms of just the amount of action, and not for nothing, like friggin' Geena Davis, she like jumped it off. She's like she was the building block for the Charlize Therons of the freaking, world. So like she don't get enough recognition for how badass she was in that role as well.
And it bums me out, too, because a lot of people point to the failure of Cutthroat Island as something that kept people away. And listen, if you haven't read about Cutthroat Island, watch it, because every dime you see on screen, it's insane. And Carolico was doing it, and money got out of hand, and they had other investors, and it was just a total shit show. And Harlin even says that he and Davis were like, please let us out of this. Please let us out. And they made it. But I think a lot of movies nowadays, man, for better or worse, are a product of expectations and momentum. So they had made one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. Shane Black wasn't exactly hot after Last Action Hero and a few of those movies. So you have this excellent movie, but you have people coming from not so successful films. Like Shane Black is getting paid too much to make these movies. He got $4 million for this script. There's a lot of bad buzz. Then you had all the bad buzz about, Long Kiss Goodnight. And so when this comes out, R-rated, bloody, nasty, funny, compelling, dramatic, with rich characters.
And a super different look on Geena Davis than we've seen up until that point.
She's such a badass. And I love, too, with Renny Harlin, where... All right, first, I love all the different aspects of this movie where they're ice skating in the beginning, right? And the daughter falls and she gives her the speech, and then the daughter gives her the speech later. Then there's the ice skating chase. Like, this movie has a ton of Chekhov's ice skates, Chekhov's anything you can think of matches. I just love this movie. That's a tight script. It's very 1990s, right? There are a few moments where you're just like, ooh. But you do understand, man. Sam Jackson, right? He said that this was his favorite role ever. Like, he said Mitch Hennessy is his favorite character. He said he loved making this movie with Geena Davis. And do you want to hear the rest of his favorites, or did you already research those?
No, tell me.
Yeah, so he said Nick Fury was 5 because he was just promoting his movie. But then he combined, number 4 was his Tarantino roles.
Okay.
Number 3 was Mace Windu.
Okay. Which
is interesting. I mean, he loves his purple lightsaber in that movie.
Yeah,
he adores his time.
Very fond of that purple lightsaber.
He adores his time on that movie. He skipped number 2 because he was so excited. He's like, I just want to get to 1. And he just said The Long Kiss Goodnight. He's like, I loved working with Geena Davis. The character, man. Like, he gives the toys to his kid, and his kid's like, did you steal these? It's interesting how, he told the story about, you thought that maybe he was blackmailed, but he actually did steal the stuff, and he went to jail. Yeah. And he's kind of this dirtbag who hires homeless people with food to get money from people, with his assistant helping him to get money. He's kind of but he also becomes the moral compass of this movie. He's telling Geena Davis to call her daughter, and
and I think that's what makes his character so likable, even though he's essentially a scumbag in the beginning. He is as much of the scumbag as he is the moral kind of high ground for Geena Davis once she becomes Charlie. Once she turns, or I guess I should say turns, but becomes herself again, he's the one that's like you said, telling her, call your daughter, and like, why are you dressed like that? And like, he's like, aren't you a mother? Like, he's pointing out all these things to her to remind her of who she, who a part of her is. I don't want to say who she was, because that is a part of her character, and that was a part of her growth, which was such a dope, like, that you don't really see that in especially 90s action movies. You don't see character growth and development like they put in this movie.
I mean, look at like Eraser and these kind of, it's just action dudes being action dudes.
Seriously, like if you literally think about all the big action movies of the 90s, right? It was about the action. It wasn't so much about, character growth and development, or, a really, like the story of The Long Kiss Goodnight was very intricate, with the whole spy thing and the spy angle, but the super covert, I said COVID. Oh my God. The super covert black ops underground spy network that she's a part of, but she doesn't know, but all these people do know. And, the people that do know have been watching her, but she doesn't know until she knows. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was very like Christopher Nolan before Christopher Nolan for Renny Harlin. You know what I mean? I feel like this is one of his best movies, in my opinion.
And I love this quote by Shane Black. He said, "What I wanted to do is not be afraid to give a woman character as serious a role as I would a man character. The temptation is to keep a woman soft and fluffy." This is Shane Black in 96. He's like, "I also wanted to do a story about a mother and a daughter, about a woman who uses her skills as a professional killer and mother to protect her child." And this role is even harder for Geena Davis because, I mean, in a lot of movies, right, you have the man in Commando, you have Arnold Schwarzenegger getting his daughter back. You have Stallone getting his daughter back. I just want my daughter back. I just want my family back. And it's just...
And they'll blow up anything to do it.
Exactly.
Damn it.
And she does the same here. And I guess what I like is that it's a tougher role for her because there's two sides of her personality. So remember when Sam Jackson said that the reason you like Samantha Cain, your character, because you didn't hate yourself for that long. And her cover story was to be a teacher and this, that, and the other. So that must have been in her subconscious. So then you have this hit person who's an absolute badass, but then you have this Samantha Cain who's married, living a domestic life, loves her daughter. And so you have these two dueling identities in one movie. When you think about Bourne Identity, right? Bourne was just some dude who forgot his memories and then he just came back and killed everybody. He didn't have the dueling ideologies to battle with. And that's what makes this once again even more impressive, her role and her performance. So it's like a 3-part. At first it's Samantha, then it's Charlie, and then it's a combination of both in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And what I can appreciate too is that, there was no fridging, involved or necessary.
Yes.
Of any characters. Like, the husband didn't have to die for her to go on this like terrible, revenge rampage or whatever. It was, and I like the fact that it was all these little situations that just kept happening one after another that kept you in the movie. Like the pacing was kind of perfect. It wasn't too fast. It wasn't too slow. You know what I mean? And then as you're watching it, it's like these little things that keep happening that make her character develop more. And then when she starts to remember who Charlie was, when they get to the hotel and then she's like in the shower, she cuts her hair, she dyes it, and then she's Charlie again. Like to see that growth from this, homemaking, school teaching, Mrs. Claus in the Christmas parade to badass assassin. Like that, the way she pulled that off was just like top notch acting. It was like, it was acting 101. Like seriously, man, I cannot say enough. And like you said,
it's annoying
unfortunately,
because this movie's so good, and then people don't know that much about it, and you're like, guys,
it is, and it's so sad that the movie that I honestly, it's so funny. It's like the thing that I equate with Geena Davis outside of Long Kiss Goodnight is that damn pirate movie. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? And it sucks because I don't even know why I equate with that movie. Like, outside of Long Kiss Goodnight, the thing, like, and she's done a lot of other shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. She's
done a lot of other work. And for whatever reason, that movie left such a blemish on her career for whatever reason in some ways. And some ways it didn't. And I would say in terms of her movie career, I feel like that movie, that role, like kind of deaded it. It like ended her movie career, but she did a lot of television and she did a lot of, other, so but it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see her, in the movies more.
Yeah. What stinks too is because Cutthroat Island comes out. It's $100+ million movie with a female lead in 95. That never happens, right?
Yeah.
That never happens. And it was a total debacle behind the scenes. And so it didn't work. And it's just weird how you think about some of Stallone's movies that have sucked. Some of Schwarzenegger's movies that have sucked, JCVD's movies that have sucked, and they keep getting a second chance.
Of course. They get second, third, fourth, fifth chances.
And
they get direct to DVD chances. You know what I mean?
These movies, man, I'm telling you, it just doesn't matter. Like, that's why I love watching some of the Korean films. You have fresh faces on screen. That's why I love the Long Kiss Goodnight. You know what I like is Sam Jackson's character in this. I think he's such a selfless actor. I really do, because normally it's the damsel in distress. In this movie, it's I'm going to quote him. It's the mother effer in distress.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, he's the one that's saying to her, "You got to save me."
And constantly.
Give me something different, man. Give me the villainess. Give me widows. Give me I don't know. Just give me something that's not right.
But you know what that is, though. I'm gonna tell you exactly what that is. That is, something that, for whatever reason, Hollywood is afraid of, and that's a strong female, like, lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, Hollywood is afraid to write strong, nuanced female leads that, don't have to be motivated in the same ways, that, male action leads are written, and I feel like this was a glimpse into that. Villainous is a glimpse into that, and to see what's possible when you have, some good writing, some good action, and just good actors. This is what you get. You know what I mean? And like Long Kiss Goodnight essentially is a testament to that. It's akin to like Ghost in the Shell. When the first time I saw Ghost in the Shell, the anime, that was for me, like, I think the first time I watched an anime with a female lead that was like the badass, like that was, and I was pretty much into just Dragon Ball back then at that time. You know what I mean? So Ghost in the Shell was that first look for me into like, oh shit, this is what a dope ass, like, strong female lead can be. Oh, I want to see more of this. So when it's done and it's done well, oh, this is what you get. You get, a Long Kiss Goodnight.
And I think it's funny. You have directors like James Cameron, who he directed Terminator and then Terminator 2, and he took over for Aliens, and he had such strong characters in that. And even the Resident Evil franchise, which is maligned, but I adore it. I mean, you have Mila Jovovich as the lead, and the last one made 350 million worldwide.
Yeah.
It's like this weird thing where like, people they are, look at the Fast and Furious, how diverse that cast is. It's successful. And so and it's weird when people don't want to make these movies, right? And then you just go, guys, look at the history of this. I mean, and also, but like, you know what I like too about this movie in the 90s, right? Watching this movie, it was weird for me because at 14 you also had Barbed Wire come out. So you have two completely different heroes. You have the highly sexualized hero, and then in this one you have Sam Cain, and Charlie is just a badass. And she does flash him, she does have like the torture scene, but it's not anywhere near Barbed Wire. And so you watch these movies and you're used to, I mean, I love Sandra Bullock in Speed, right? I love Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies, but in the 90s we didn't, Helen Hunt and Twister, like they were just running from twisters, but you
tornadoes shit.
You didn't have this.
Nah. At all. And I think that was the thing that drew me into it was, like you said, you didn't have that. You didn't see that. And yes, there were strong, female leads and of course in other movies, but not this way. Not, especially in the 90s. Like, not for an action movie. You know what I mean? For a hard up action movie. Like, one of my favorite scenes is when they're in the terminal, the bus depot, the train station, and then they start getting shot at, and then they're running through the building, and she gets the gun and they jump out the window and she shoots into like, what? That was one of the dopest sequences. Like, come on, like, how badass is that? She's jumping through the windows, all her like muscle memories coming back, and you see her slowly transform, but she's not all the way there yet. She's not fully there, but that muscle memory's kicking in, and she's just like, oh wait, I got this. I remember, I'm jumping through the ice, bam. Such a dope sequence, and that movie is like I said, it just, the pacing to it is so good. Like, right after that, they jump into the car with my man, Brian.
Brian Cox, Nathan.
They go to his farm, and then she's slowly starting to pick things up, and he's starting to remind her of shit, but like, it's not all there, but it doesn't stop. The action keeps going and it keeps building. So like, it is a testament to kind of 90s action cinema, and it is, not just like, you can't talk about this movie without talking about all the other co-stars in it as well. You know what I mean? Brian Cox, Craig Bierko, David Morse, like, it was just such a good, well-rounded cast, and it was just a testament to 90s action, man. It's one of my favorite friggin' movies. Like I said, you can't talk highly enough about the movie. The fact that it did well and they didn't do a sequel is so disheartening too, because it had such a perfect setup for a sequel.
Renny Harlin wants to do a sequel now where it's her daughter, and she teams up with Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson said he was 100% down. So I wonder if they would make it, because Renny Harlin's living in China right now. You know his Skip Trace movie with Johnny Knoxville and Jackie Chan made 150 million worldwide?
Really?
Yeah. So he's still making movies out there that are popular. So it's pretty interesting, man. He's and going back to the movie, I gotta say one of my favorite parts is when she's rescuing Mitch Hennessy, and he's laying in this kind of pit and just bloodied and beaten, and all you see through are these slits from the metal grate, and you just hear her murdering all these men, and then she saves him. It's such a badass moment, and I like I like Craig Bierko because his Timothy character isn't too over the top 90s cool.
Yeah.
He walks a tightrope. Sometimes he almost falls on the side of you're way too 1990s.
Yeah.
I still like him. And then I think one thing I really like about Brian Cox, he can just hand it when he's talking about the dog licking its butt. You're like, Brian Cox is the only person who could do this. And David Morse also sorry, before I know I kind of cut you off there, but David Morse, I love his, like, he's a big dude. And I love him in The Rock, right? And I love him in this role because he's a big guy who seems very nice, but he also exudes menace.
Yeah, and it's like, even when he was nice, you knew something was up with him. Like, I feel like all his roles, he kind of plays those type of dudes where, like, you don't quite know what's going on in that guy's head, but you know it ain't good. So it's just kind of funny. Like I said, that cast is just a testament to like the movie overall. What made the movie good.
No, I'm with you, and I also got to say too, man. Like I've been reading a lot about this. I like to go into these reviews, reading a lot of user reviews, and I don't know. The critics weren't too kind to this movie. They were like, Geena Davis didn't have to do all her stunts. This blah blah blah. But I've noticed some people were complaining, and this is what I hate. Yeah, so Renny Harlin did want to make he still wants to make a sequel. So as of last year, Sam Jackson's still in. Renny Harlin's now living in China. That movie Skip Tracy made was Chinese funded. It made 150 million worldwide, which is bonkers. And he wants to make a movie about Charlie's daughter, Samantha's daughter, is in trouble, and it's up to because Renny and Geena Davis were married and they got divorced, so I don't know if they'd want to be back together. But then he wants Sam Jackson to come back and help him.
That could be a good movie, right? And you know what? And it's just like, it's kind of like those movies, like The Professional, right? It left you wanting more, right? The Professional, to this day, I'm surprised no one took the chance to write a sequel to that movie where, you know, she takes up the mantle. And you see Tarantino is kind of like hinting that he's finally going to do this Kill Bill 3. Like, it's been ruminations and rumors in the works that this movie is finally about to get, you know, produced. But again, like same with Long Kiss Goodnight, you know, it would be dope if it was written well. And I feel like that's what it really is going to boil down to, like the writing, the script. As long as there's a good script, I would love to see like a kind of a classic return, kind of like how he did in Atomic Blonde, you know, with the action, a lot more practical, because a movie like that deserves practical effects. I don't believe it doesn't need the Fast and Furious treatment. You know, we don't need all the CGI blood. Just keep it practical and just make it a dope action film, because I feel like that's what a lot of the more modern action films are missing, is kind of that practical kind of thing. And you see Netflix has been doing it a lot lately with their movie releases. So hopefully if it does get, you know, made, they can kind of stick to that format of kind of just guerrilla friggin', you know, 90s style filming, practical effects, good stunts. And I think it could be a really good movie, man. I think that could be a really, really freaking good movie.
I'd like to see Geena Davis reprise her role.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, it's just, I know that Renny wants to go with her daughter, but I would love to see a similar vibe with Geena Davis. I mean, let's say there are still people out there who want her dead, or something happens. Like, I would love to see her reteam with Sam Jackson and then just have her go out and crush some folks. Like, that's like, it's different. Like, we've never been given, I'm not quite sure how old Geena Davis is now, but she's got to be like in her 50s. So I would love to see that. Why not? We get 70-year-old Stallone, and I love all the Expendables movies running around. Why not give us Geena Davis running around crushing some people? I have a quick question for you, and I want to see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through a lot of reviews for this movie, and I was kind of coming across, and in prior conversations with people, it seems like you watch Hobbs and Shaw, and there's a moment when Dwayne Johnson is holding two chains, and he's attached to a truck and a helicopter, and he's pulling them together. In the real world, his arms would be ripped off. In a lot of these movies, right? One guy kills 30 people. One guy does this. And in Old Boy, he wipes out 30 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed and I'm not using your past example, so this isn't me reacting to what you just said, but then other people watch movies with like female-led action heroes. Mm-hmm. And they're fine with The Rock's arms not being pulled out of his sockets, but they also are like, there's no way a 100-pound woman could win that fight. And it seems very, what's the word? Reductive. Yeah, it seems very reductive. So you're totally fine with a character throwing somebody around like a beach ball. So there's a scene with me and you, and I just pick you up and I throw you 30 feet. Everyone's like, ha ha ha. But if a woman throws me 30 feet, they're like, oh, that would never happen. So I do think it's a weird thing though that I've noticed where they're like, that wouldn't happen. I think it's very reductive. It seems sort of maybe, you know, it seems like sexist, I would say almost.
It's very sexist. It is very.
to just say, okay, that person, that, I am fine with this person carrying a tree, a literal tree, but I'm not fine with, 100-pound woman doing a hurricanrana on somebody and flipping him. And like, that's gotten really old to me, man. And do you think that's just people? I mean, do you think that's just people aren't primed for that? Like, people aren't. I don't know. I think we're so used to Jean-Claude Van Damme being blinded and throwing spin kicks that, and it's just weird how people can accept one but not the other. Does that make sense? And it gets pretty annoying. I don't understand that. Like,
I don't either. And I think the biggest, thing when it comes to that, right? When you look at movies, to me, like, where you have like just badass females just kicking ass, just like dudes, right? Atomic Blonde. To me, one of the dopest, some of the dopest action sequences, to me, just as good as John Wick. Didn't get nearly as much love as John Wick did in the theaters, right?
Yeah. Davis did a ton of her stuff for this, which is a Renny Harlin staple, which I love.
Yes. And again, I said this earlier, she doesn't get enough props for, like, really, to me, I feel like this came out in 96. I guess they came out around the same time. So I guess you could put her and Linda Hamilton in that kind of era of kind of just women just doing it like super, going hard as hell on film in the action movies, just as hard as the dudes doing it back then, as the Stallones and the Wesley Snipes and the Schwarzeneggers, and holding their own. Out since then, Hollywood has kind of been afraid to kind of it's like they do the movies, but then they don't market the movies the same way they market these other movies, right? So if you look at the level of marketing like an Expendables got, come on, who doesn't love a cheesy fucking action 80s movie? And the Expendables was that. It was, like I said, it was billed to be this cheesy kind of, updated 80s action flick with all your favorite action stars from back in the day, right? So when you went into that movie, you went into it with this expectation of like super over the top, nonsensical action. Expendables is set in a real world, but it's like a really fictional
It's
world.
not a real, it's a splinter dimension.
Yeah. It's like Earth 626 or some shit, right? It's this version of Earth that doesn't really exist. So you don't really take things in it as serious.
And it's just, you know what I would like in Long Kiss Goodnight too? So people go into Geena Davis's house and they're like, be careful of her, she's deadly. And then they see Geena Davis, and then I think like a lot of people do, in what patriarchal areas, they kind of take her for granted. They're not worried. And then they just catch a throat to the knife, a knife to the throat. It's, I think that'd be an interesting way to play it, is just people really not taking it seriously. And I think that could be an interesting theme to be explored, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And I mean, playing off of that, the idea of, people not taking her serious, but her at the same time not feeling like she has to prove anything. Because
I got you.
That she could wreck shit if she wanted to, But I always feel like a lot of times it's those little quick burns, or those little, like, not the full-fledged takeout sometimes, but those little, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself, really wreck yourself, like, moments that I could see her doing just because of Charlie Baltimore's character, right? She's this little, sarcastic, smart mouth.
Funny.
Wow.
Did you get whiplash from that?
Yeah, like, right? Like, that's such another good scene, like, when she just drives around the block like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just on the floor. And she
laying there. Oh, that's such a...
She's just laying there.
Yeah, I love her as a teacher, too, when he checks out that runner and he's like, woohoo! She's like, what joy could she get from you yelling woohoo at her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then he's like, you could see her coming from around the block. You'd have time to comb your hair. And then he's like, I don't think you need me anymore. She boots him out and he just lays there while she drives around the block. I mean, there's so many... Actually, how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive into our favorite scenes of this movie. How's that sound?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And Kiyon, You know what happens when you make an assumption?
No, I do not. Please tell me.
You make an ass out of you and umption.
Umption.
Oh man, that's such a written line, but it makes me happy. And so, how about this? We haven't really talked about our favorite moments. And so in this movie, you have Geena Davis living her life. You get the treehouse introduced, which I love. You get the different aspects, her husband, her family life. She has that fun interaction with that drunk guy where she's telling him to blow bubbles. And then she snaps a deer's neck. And later on, she snaps that dude's head after their house fight. Eventually, she's on the news. This guy goes and attacks her one eye. And I'm telling you, man, that fight scene is unbelievable. I love how things explode from the shotgun blast. It's not some of these movies where people shoot guns at each other, they shoot a buckshot shotgun and it doesn't do anything. So it's fun to see the things exploding. He slips on the M&Ms on the floor, very Home Alone style. He shoots the refrigerator. She kills him with a glass pie and then punches him in the neck and snaps it. I mean, it's beautiful, man. You get, like, the knife is brought back up, but it reverses it. And it's a brutal fight. And I think it sets the tone really. What's up?
You cannot get that tagline at the end. Chefs do that, I think.
I love that. Yeah, chefs do that. Oh, when she's cutting. Oh, I love that scene. And just the joy that they're experiencing. But I love the fight scene, too, because it's cool because she's not there yet. She has some of her power. She's starting to get that muscle memory. And so it keeps it dramatic. I love, and I love too where you don't really think about these in this movie, it's really interesting how she's thinking about her kid first. She throws her kid to safety first, and then she has to go kill this guy. It's another dynamic I love. Her husband gets destroyed. But that's what I love too. And you and I are not, we're never going to be stars of the movie Red, but I like how in this movie this guy had never been in a fight in his life. So when he goes after one eye, he gets pulverized. And that's how it would happen, right? So I'm not talking this as a tough guy, like, oh, this is what I would have done. That's how it would have happened, correct?
No, they're real facts. That's facts. And I think that's what makes the movie sequences so good and so believable is because of the one, because yes, the movie is grounded, right? It is very much grounded in real life. So like you said, the average dude who's just a regular, suburban dad is not going to do anything to this hardened criminal assassin dude coming to take out his wife, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact that she becomes in turn the savior, but not, like you said, reluctantly so, in such a way where they play up that tagline again after she's done kicking old boy's ass and then she's tasting the friggin' pie on her fingers. I think chefs do that. That's just a testament to one, good writing, two, good stunt work, and just three, good directing. The way that whole sequence was shot was just so dope.
It's so cool. The refrigerator gag and just how she gets shot back. And the guy kind of takes her for granted. And then she just smashes the pot. That's what I love about Renny Harlin. And I've been talking about this way too much. But in Nightmare on Elm Street 4, there's a lady who works out. You think she's going to die by a workbench, but then she gets her arms destroyed. Then she becomes a cockroach and she dies. In Deep Blue Sea, you have Jim Whitlock's arm being bit off. Then he's used as a battering ram. In Cliffhanger, there's a helicopter fight. Then the helicopter gets attached to a cliff. And then they're fighting on a helicopter that's dangling on a cliff. I love how Renny Harlin builds people slipping on M&Ms and killing people with pies in the face. He always
it's a slapsticky kind of a humor to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I dig it. And I like how she establishes her power and then her toughness. And then we introduce to Sam Jackson, who I love them together. He's like, yeah, turn on the heater. He's like, it doesn't work, but the sound will annoy you and you won't think about the cold. And then I love when they get in an argument and he just goes, shut up and look out the window. And they both smile. That just, I don't know.
That was definitely a very, just the chemistry. They have really great chemistry in every scene that they were in together. And like you said earlier, the way, not just Sam, but the way Geena and him, really just made it about the film and how each of them gave to one another in those scenes and how you could see that little back and forth. I would love to have seen like some behind the scenes of just them interacting on those scenes. Like, one of my favorites was, like I said earlier, when, you know, he gets kicked out the truck and like she just drives around the block like 3 times and he's just laying on the ground and he decides to light a cigarette. Because I think at that point he realizes like he's in a position now where he is just stuck, right? There's no getting out of it. And he knows she's not going to leave him there. And then she eventually does come back to get him, you know, and that continues to show kind of that relationship that they built throughout the movie. And just that relationship that they have on screen. It was such a funny, like, scene to me. And it was so, like, low key, like, and kind of unexpected. But I love the way he shot, like, the truck just driving around the block, like, several times before she finally decides to say, all right, get in the car, you know, and they pull off. And I think that's one of the strong points to this movie is just kind of how the pacing is just so perfect. It has the perfect pacing, where each action sequence kind of builds off of the last one. And you slowly see her remembering who she is. And, you know, like you said, in that first scene, she reluctantly, you know, saves the day. You know, she starts to realize like there's something else going on. Don't know what it is, but there's something going on. And then we fast forward to the train station scene where they're in the depot, and then, you know, she's busting out of windows and shooting, you know, glass
so
like
cool.
a badass and jumping through ice and then coming out. And I think, you know what, honestly, if you really go back, that scene, I think, was where it was that first real initial shock to her system, reminding her of who she was when she hit that ice water. The way he filmed her coming out in slow motion, she's taking that big gasp of air, and it's like she's being reborn out of that frozen, like, ice water. So I feel like that scene was like really that first shock to her system, reminding her who she was. Because then if you remember, then that's when they meet up with old boy. And then now she's on top of, she doesn't trust anybody now. She doesn't trust any friggin' body. And she's questioning every friggin' thing, you know. So yeah,
that's when she becomes the badass. And then the match moment is when she becomes the third version of her character. I would say the hybrid version.
A hybrid, yeah, definitely. I think. And we can't forget that classic kind of. Honestly, I feel like in that scene has definitely been, you know, copied in other movies where she's ice skating across the friggin'.
Oh, that's so badass.
Ice skate, and she's like, and she goes and she's got the gun on her back, and she's, oh man, she's like, yo, there's nothing going to stop Charlie Baltimore. Nothing is going to stop her from her mission, right?
Those headshots. I love it.
Such a, like, Charlie Baltimore in itself, something that's upsetting to me is the fact that Charlie Baltimore hasn't been utilized more in movies. Although the idea of Charlie Baltimore has been used in other movies, Kill Bill, that idea, the whole concept of, you know, a woman loses memory, had a regular, quote unquote, regular life, was an assassin, regains her memories. Oh, now she's a badass and she's seeking revenge, and the father to the daughter is the bad guy. So like the idea and the concept of Charlie Baltimore has been used, but I feel like you said, when she hits that third act and she becomes the Samantha Cain meets Charlie Baltimore, there's so much more story there, and I feel like there's so much more that you could do with that character that really needs to be kind of touched upon and developed.
And you know what I like too about her? Sorry, I keep interrupting you, man, but
No, go ahead.
You inspired me to say something interesting. And as much as I love certain movies, like I love Kill Bill, I love the John Wick movies, but at some points I'm just thinking, you're not going to get out of this. You can't just turn down a marker in John Wick 2. You can't. You have to take it. I'm out. No, it doesn't work like that. And I like that Long Kiss Goodnight never gives us that, because they try to take her out, she loses her memory, then she comes back. There's no naive, I'm going to get out. There's no... Does that make sense? You're just thinking, you're not going to get out, or your stupid choice got people killed. So her amnesia, let's say her husband gets killed. Her amnesia didn't get... Like, her choice to leave and marry and get them murdered wasn't her choice. And I think that's... Like, there's no, like, revenge in this movie, if you think about it. So John Wick 2 kills a dog. Kill Bill kills husband, puts her in a coma. There's so many revenge movies. This one's just, who am I?
Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, and there is revenge, but the revenge I don't feel is the driving force for her.
It's learning, right?
It's her learning of what had happened and what happened to her, which makes her in turn want to, seek revenge. But ultimately, I don't feel like that was the primary objective for her. Whereas like in John Wick, that, like you said, the dog was murdered. That was his primary objective. Like, I'm going to get the motherfuckers that murdered my dog. Right. And, the second one was his car, right? They stole his car. I'm going to get the motherfuckers that stole my car. Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure they never do it again. So I feel like the character of Samantha Cain, let's start with Samantha Cain, right? The Samantha Cain character.
She's still funny.
She doesn't play or come across to me as a weak character either, right? In the beginning, they show aspects of her being this sure about herself, individual, like you said, she looks at the drunk guy and she tells him to blow some bubbles. And like, she has this confidence about her that isn't like this shy, timid, like, oh, I'm just a shy, timid housewife, and I'm a school teacher on the side, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes you immediately like her character from the jump, is you see that kind of confidence in her from the rip, right? And then once all the things start to happen to her, and then she starts to slowly remember who she is and who she's becoming, you see kind of that it's the duality behind Samantha Cain and Charlie Baltimore, right? Samantha Cain subconsciously was something that Charlie Baltimore always wanted, right? Mm-hmm. And when Charlie Baltimore was gone, that's what she gave herself, right? But then when Charlie Baltimore came back, it was still something that she wanted. Even though she wanted to go back to that life, she's still always about that life, right? Charlie Baltimore is about that life. Don't come for me unless I call for you, right? So, but I like the fact that when you get to the third act, you see that. You see this kind of melding of the dualities of Samantha Cain and Charlie Baltimore, where she realizes like, yo, I am, a whole person. Like, I'm not just murder, death, kill, and I'm not just Susie Homemaker, and I can be both and kind of still have a family and still love my daughter and not feel like a shithead about it, right? Because that was her biggest thing, was like she low-key didn't want to face the fact that she had a daughter, right? And she was trying to avoid the daughter because of the way she came about, right? She was more, I feel like, ashamed at how she had the daughter and didn't want to kind of face that initially. And then Sam, being the mental, like the moral high road, is like reminding her like, yo, before you was this fly ass Charlie Baltimore chick, you was Samantha fucking Cain. You were a teacher. You had a daughter. Your daughter's worried about you. Like, you should, he's the one kind of reminding her of who she was or who she is. Even though she is Charlie Baltimore, you're still Samantha Cain to a degree. You know what I mean?
It's fun. I'm telling you, man. The right, and I love too what you said about how in the beginning she's still kind of a smartass. Mm-hmm. I like that about her character too, is blowing the bubbles. And then I love the scene where she's hosting
a party and she's like just meeting and greeting everybody and schmoozing. Like, you see the confidence in her character.
And she's still in her head. She still wonders who she is. So but she's just, I don't know, I dig it. And I also love her just quips too before she switches over to Baltimore. And like, I love how she says, he's like, I'm not going to put my gun in my belt. I'm going to shoot my dick off. And she goes, oh, you're a sharpshooter now? And
yeah.
Just the lines that she gives this guy. And when she flashes him and then rips the thing off, like, I don't know, that's afterwards. But it's such I don't know, man. It's just a character we haven't seen. And that's why it's just so refreshing to me and frustrating that people don't really dig it. It's a weird thing, man. This is a good movie. And on IMDb, it's 6.8, which is high. It's 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I don't know. I also think, I just want to say, I love that. I'm going back to this, but I think these if you think about Mad Max Fury Road, Tom Hardy's performance was really selfless because he took the back seat. In Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise was the weasel and Emily Blunt was the badass. And listen, man, me and you should not applaud actors for doing what's right.
Yeah, right.
But like, and I hate writing that, dude. It's like, I hate applauding directors for hiring diverse casts because it's what they should do, but we don't live in that world. So that's why I do applaud people who actually think outside the box. Does that make sense? But
no, it definitely does. Yeah. It definitely does. I mean, and the proof is in the pudding, because you see movies that have the diversity in them tend to be the ones that do really, really well at the box office, right? So there is a thing for wanting to actually see a version of real life depicted in the movies, right? And in the things that we consume, especially blockbuster movies, right? Because it's like, as a person of color, if I go to a movie and I'm watching this big, action movie, and like, you mean to tell me that there's no badass black people too? Like,
exactly.
Like, and that's what I can appreciate about the Expendable movies, and these movies with really diverse casts, that show a version of everybody being a badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a testament to kind of, when you have one, good directing, good producing, you have all the good elements in place, and, a good intentions and right intentions in mind. Like you said, you should applaud it. It should be applauded, even though it shouldn't be something that we go out of our way to applaud. It should be applauded, especially when, even with all the things that have come out, in Hollywood and what have you, like there's still, shit going on. There's still disparity going on. So it does need to be highlighted when it happens.
It just grates me to do it, but it's like, and so get this, man. So I worked on a lot of film sets, and there are, I don't know. There's not, I can only count the people that have been really kind on one hand. And And so when people like Paul Walker passed away, it bummed me out because he was a really good dude. He looked out for the crews and stuff. And so, but then I'm kind of thinking to myself, man, I'm applauding this guy for being nice. And so it feels weird. But then I also want to say, man, this was 96. And in this movie, Sam Jackson was hot. I mean, he was coming off of Pulp Fiction, man. He was the ultimate badass in that. Just awesome. His monologues and just his demeanor. But in the Long Kiss Goodnight, man, it almost feels like Geena Davis sort of overpowers him. You see them together, and she's the dominant force between them, and that's the way he plays it. And I once again, man, it sucks to say it, but it makes me like Sam Jackson even more because, like, I'm telling you, man, she rescues him about 8 times in this movie.
But you know what, though? This is a thing, though. I mean, you got to remember, too, as an actor, right? Your job is to literally give your, like, especially if you're in a scene with somebody else, right? When they're in scenes together, and this is what I love, is a testament to Sam Jackson as an actor. Like you said, all the scenes that they're in together, you see she's the dominant, force in the scene, but at the same time, there's this playfulness about it, right? She knows she's the dominant force, and he knows that he's, like, in these situations, the sub, so to say, in the relationship, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a playfulness to it, and there's this, he plays it in such a way where it's like, damn it, I don't give a damn how badass you are. I'm still, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm still happy. You know what I mean? Like, he plays it so well, but at the same time, like you say, he's the damsel in distress most of the time, and she's the one coming to save the day.
She pulls his arm during a gunfight, as opposed to the guy grabbing the woman's arm and running with her. She grabs his arm and runs with him.
Exactly. So, like, that's just a testament to just being a good actor, one, and understanding, like, how to give life to character, right? How to give life to characters and really make a scene just pop. Like, every one of the scenes that they have together is just it's always something fun or funny happening.
They like each other, right? You could tell that they
tell. You definitely tell. Like, and that's why it's so sad that I wish they really would have did. And this is the problem I have when they, like, wait too long to do, like, not remakes or sequels. Like, when they take too long to do sequels, like, one, especially with a property like Charlie Baltimore, because one, like I said, it was never followed up on outside of that medium, right? I don't believe there's any comic books about Charlie Baltimore. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, this was original script. Some people, it drew inspiration from Bourne. And so it's kind of the same principles, but it's completely different from Bourne, the whole amnesia and the spy and the CIA. But no, this was an original script by Shane Black.
So, and that's the thing, like, and that's a testament to just like what good writing can do. How, like, I've watched this movie even to this day, like it still holds up so well. Like it holds up with any movie, action movie that came out this year or last year. You can put it up on the same level with, honestly.
How much do you love the line where she's in the truck, she's driving the bomb at the end? Because this is all about what the CIA wanting to blow up stuff so they can get more funding because they're underfunded. Which it's kind of a B plot. I could care less about the plot of this movie and the whole stupid truck and all that. But I love it when she says, "Suck my blank, every one of you bastards." And I love it too, man. It makes me like hearing her say that. You're like, this is. You hear this in movies now with people saying that, and here's Geena Davis doing that. And I also noticed something that they play with a lot in this movie too, which a lot of the guys are always calling her a bitch. Have you noticed that? Like, you bitch, you this, you that. And it's just another thing too that I think a lot of women have had to deal with. Oh, you don't want to dance with me? Well, you're this, or you. Does that make sense? Like,
no, definitely.
You don't want to go on a date with me? Like, you this. It's interesting how. Everyone just keeps calling her that in this, but she's the one who's the good guy. I don't know. I just love that word. If you took a shot every time you hear the word bitch, like you'd be drunk by the end of it. I think it's another interesting dynamic of this film.
Definitely. I think, again, it's just a testament to that script, man, and to that character and what that character was and is, I think if you look at the history of that word, right, and how it's used, right, the word bitch, right, like you said, they use that towards her so much in that movie, and they do it in such a condescending way, right? Not in the same, and I guess that's the funny thing about the English language, like the amount of nuance that we kind of can create with any word, pretty much. Like you can tell the difference in how a word is used towards you or directed towards you. Okay? So, like you said, the way they call her a bitch in the movie is like, oh damn. They really don't like her, right? And
I think from entitlement, would you say?
It's just typical patriarchy, chauvinism, kind of, that whole idea, right? That whole concept of this is a woman, she's a woman, I'm a man, I don't care, how bad they say she is, I'm gonna be better, right? So that's pretty much, if you look at like all the dudes that she fought, that was the angle that most were coming in. The first dude that came in, to her house in that first scene, he came in like, oh, she's Susie Homemaker, I'm gonna bust her ass. Like I'm gonna come in and wreck her life. And then little did he know that, oh no, didn't work out that way, right?
No, not at all.
Every scene, I feel like that was kind of little subliminals, right? So little subliminal jabs at her, right? To kind of start really creating or really building this Charlie Baltimore character up. Like, and I feel like it's so funny to be like over analyzing this movie, but it really is a testament to just how good of an action movie it was, because the character development in the movie is just so good. Sam Jackson's character, Geena Davis's character, they just both have the ending, like the ending that you wanted, right? Even when in the beginning, when Sam went to visit his son, did
you steal this?
Yeah, right. But the thing, right, it reminded me of going back and watching this. How I was saying, I was watching Spider-Man 3 recently, and I wanted to see if it was as bad as I remembered it being, because I remember going to the movie theaters to see Spider-Man 3, and I can honestly say it wasn't super horrible. And you hear how hard it was for me to say that, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it was, good by any means of the way either. But one of the things that reminded me of that scene, because I watched it recently, Long Kiss, is when Mary Jane, she comes to tell, they're at their date, and she's talking to Peter, and she's, I won't say she's complaining, but she's like, worried about what's going on and how well she's going to do, and he's trying to be the good boyfriend and say, oh, you got it, you're good, and she's like, no, Peter, I don't have it, you're wrong, and I hate you. Like, that was her pretty much character the whole movie. Like, she pretty much drove Peter to take the symbiote and do the weird dance moves down the street, right? Because he was there. I mean, and granted, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was so completely oblivious in that movie as well. He was not by any means a saint because he did the whole upside down kiss with Gwen.
Yeah, that was no good.
And it's like, then he acted like, what? What was the big deal? It was just, for the pictures, Mary Jane. You're tripping, bruh. Like, you're tripping. So, like, he was gaslighting her nonetheless. But, like, she started it with the, like, whole, like, you're not being a supportive boyfriend, Peter. And I'm sitting here trying to tell you what's going on with me, Peter. And he's like, I kind of am. I'm like, saying like, you got it, you're the best, and I was there to show, and I was singing the words with you, F the critics don't mean nothing. And she's like, no, they do, and you're wrong, and I hate you.
I mean, I guess it was tough for her though, because she did one show and then got fired, and then she was trying to talk to him about it, and he's like, yeah, you're fine, you're great. Like, that's not, maybe she just wanted to vent to him.
She wanted to vent, but at the same time, I felt like he was trying. Like, she didn't even acknowledge him trying. And that was the thing that reminded me from Long Kiss when, granted, the toy might have not been, gained by the most honorable measures, but he's trying. You can see, as much of a scumbag as this dude is, he's a scumbag that really wants to connect with his son. He wants to have a relationship with his son. And as much as his ex-wife doesn't want him to, he's still going out of his way trying to make that connection, albeit, not the most honorable, but he's trying, you know what I mean? And that's what makes you like his character from the jump, even though he's out here in these streets doing some crazy stuff.
Here's the deal though. What do you feel about this sometimes? Like, he had gone to jail, he was a scumbag, but as he was trying to get things right, I do think you see he's nice in there, but I think he seems like a guy who everyone tells him he's a scumbag. So when he finally gets away and gets with Geena Davis, who doesn't know him, like, she calls him low rent and stuff. But that's when no one's telling him otherwise. Like, his old life isn't there. He's somewhere else. And that's where I think he starts to progress. Does that make sense? Because he's doing
he's definitely, because he's with someone who has been, she's morally compromised, just like he is. So why would she, try to, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't serve her character to berate and downgrade him as a character because she's just as morally compromised as him. Yeah, she takes the shit out of him a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's lighthearted and it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? And especially when you see her kind of coming to grips with who she is, but really trying to fight it. Him seeing what's going on and not really understanding, but he knows something is up. And it's just the way he plays that kind of that role. Like, and that's what I think makes you see the goodness in his character, is that he does take on this kind of like fatherly role towards her. You know what I mean? Like, he sees that she's going through some shit, right? And he's like, he don't understand it. And initially his intentions were like, I'm just trying to get paid. I'm trying to get money. But as they get deeper and deeper, as he gets deeper and deeper involved in the shit, like, he starts to take on this kind of like somewhat fatherly role and wants to give her advice on how to be a better person, which is ironic, right? Ironic for his character to be trying to give her the moral high ground when he's like out here doing these cons and doing these crimes, right? But I think that's, like you said, that gives his character the opportunity to really see who he can become because he's not being judged by her, because she's just as morally compromised as he was.
And then look at him. At the end, he's saving the girl. I'll wait for you to come save me. Like, but and then he drops the greatest dad joke of all time on Larry King, which was amazing. But no, I'm telling you, man, I know why he's one of the favorite characters, because I love both these characters, dude.
Hennessy is just a lovable character in general. Like, his like, I can honestly see, like, whenever I watch that movie, whenever I watch Long Kiss Goodnight, and you're introduced to his character, when you're introduced to Sam for the first time, when they're setting up the dude and
the guy pukes in the background.
Yeah. Like when you know, like, all right, this guy's gonna be a fun guy. You could tell. You could tell from that first moment he busts in the door. You knew this character's gonna be a fun character. Just the way he commanded that scene, the way he came in, and I think for Sam and Geena, when they finally meet, right, they essentially just kind of complete one another, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it comes across. Like, when they essentially are like, they're the type of, how can I put it? What I'm trying to say? They're like, for one another, the thing that each other needed other people to tell them, to them and say to them at that time. And that's what makes them like that's what made him so trusting of her ability to come and save him at the end of the day, right? He's like, I know it. He's like, I know you're going to blow some shit up and come and get me. So I'm going to be waiting here. Just come get me. You know what I'm saying?
And he goes flying.
Dude, I would love to like see a graphic, like, oh my God, a graphic of just the adventures of fucking Sam and Charlie, right?
Oh,
and
yeah, man.
So like, and like the daughter and the husband come along for the ride and like, in the process, they become accustomed to the life and they start to learn about the life, and she teaches the husband how to protect himself and how to fight, and the daughter, and like, that would be such a dope graphic novel. They can go, you know, solving crimes and or something. You know what I mean? I think the character has there's so much good stuff that can be done with that character, with all of those characters, not just Charlie Baltimore, but like with Hennessy, with Charlie, I feel like a good graphic would be a good place to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Showing what happened after the first movie. Like, we do a time jump, like maybe 10 years, right? 10 years after the first movie. The daughter's old enough to be doing whatever she wants, you know, so it's not questionable. But like we say, a 10-year time jump, 5 years prior to that 10-year time jump, that's when they make the decision to like do this thing with Hennessy, and the husband's like with it because he's tired of living the suburban lifestyle.
And he loves her too, man. Remember that scene where he's like,
yeah.
the person you used to be, whatever you find, I'm not scared, I'll never be.
Exactly. So that's why he's like, I'm with it. He's like, that's even more of a catalyst for him to be like, yo, teach me, yeah. Show me, make me sensei, show me the way, right? And Charlie is gonna like, all right, I got you. You know what I mean? I'm with you, you with me, we together, like we there, right? So,
and he proved himself in that fight where, I mean, he gets destroyed by one eye, but at least he doesn't hesitate.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't hesitate. He runs in. He's like there for his woman. So, right, I feel like we just need to see more of their shenanigans, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, I would love that. Oh, that'd be so cool. We need to, you know, Victor Dandridge Jr. I should be like, hey man, write this graphic novel. He's a friend of mine. He was on the Deep Blue Sea podcast, the hardest working man in comics. We need to get him on that.
Yo, hardest working man in comics, do it. Like, yo, I got the story, I got the plot, got the through line. We could do it, right? It would be so good. I think her character, if it's done right, could be like the next big like action. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it.
Action star. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could, if someone out there is willing to bring Charlie Baltimore back and do it right and serve it justice and bring those characters back, I think it could be done so well and it'd be so dope. And like, honestly, it could be done in kind of the vein of Red, kind of like Red was like a serious action flick, but it was lighthearted at the same time, had that comedy, had that action, you know, had those melodramatic moments. You know what I mean? I feel like if you bring it back, and you can bring it back kind of with that, you know, still keep it grounded, but still have a little bit of that like lightheartedness to it. Cause it had a lot of heart, you know, even though it was this heavy action movie, it still had its moments where you laughed, you kind of giggled, and you were there in those moments with them when she's like, when they're trapped in the ice, you know, machine, the ice freezer or whatever. And she's like, we got this.
Yeah.
I planned for this moment, baby girl. I put gasoline in your pissy baby bottle, man. You know, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to blow shit up. Don't worry. Like, there's so much heart and so much soul to that movie. And it's a shame that they didn't. Yo, Renny, if for whatever reason you hear this podcast, like, come on, man, you got to do this. You got to bring back Charlie Baltimore. Get whoever you need to get together. Get the team. I can like meditate and bring good energy to it. Whatever. I'll be in the background.
Do some stunts.
I can do stunt work. I can come out of stunt retirement. Funny enough, I'm wearing my stunt team shirt right now.
Nice. Hey, so
yeah,
how about this, man? Let's talk about our 3 favorite moments of this film. So give me your 3 favorite moments.
All right, my 3 favorite moments, hands down, because they always pop in my head when I think of this movie. I say the first one is the scene where she's like cutting up the fruits and the vegetables, and she starts balancing the knife on her finger, and she throws the knife at the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was our introduction to who the hell Charlie Baltimore is going to be. So that scene to me always sticks out in my head. My second favorite scene is I said it earlier, when they're in the train station, and then she jumps out the window and she shoot, like, that scene, the way they shot that shot where she's coming out and you see her face and you see it's her, you see it's not a stunt double, you see it's them jumping out in that one shot and she's shooting the ice. That's such a badass scene to me. And I think my third favorite scene, such a toss up. All right. So my third favorite scene was the scene where she's tied up and the little farmhouse or whatever to the water mill. And, the old boy's giving his, monologue and telling her how she ain't shit. And now he's going, you ain't going to stop nothing. And she's like, yeah, I got you, buddy. I got you. Keep talking. You don't even know what you're doing for me right now. You just bringing Charlie Baltimore out right now, bro. You don't even know. You're talking about every time you put me in this water, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. And she comes out and she, pops him with the gun. Bah, 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 bah. And that's when she's like, and that's when Charlie is back. You know what I'm saying? So I think those are my 3 favorite scenes. Although there's a lot of scenes in that movie, like the funny scenes, the pie scene. There's so many, but I don't want to take them all. Your turn. Go ahead.
Oh gosh. So I'll start with the pie scene because it's absurd and it just takes place after this incredibly violent fight. And I think it lets you know the tone quite quickly. Number 2 is just, I'm waiting for you to come save me. And then Sam Jackson gets blown through a building and through a sign and into a tree. Yeah. It's just, but it's cool, man. And then I'm going to lump in the scene too where she saves him again and he's just looking up through the grill grates or the grates of the thing. And then I guess my final moment, the final badass moment for me is, oh man. Dude, when she gets her hero moment at the end, when she shoots the light, pulls herself up, grabs a gun on the way up, and then just unloads a machine gun on a helicopter and kills the bad guy, and he dies screaming. And she promised him he would die screaming.
Yeah, she did. She did.
It's bad. Just give me those moments. And she looks so... It's just... Dude, you know what's weird? This movie has the weird effect of being thrilling, but also depressing, because I wanted more. And we can't get more now. And I think the problem is okay, a lot of movies do become cult classics and they get sequels 30 years later, but those sequels rarely live up to it. I wish this would have been a massive hit and we could have gotten a sequel 2 years later. Like that's
true.
Like that's, but so it's a bittersweet where I love it and it has a cult audience. I mean, type in now, like there's some really great articles about this film on, let's see, Birth Movies Death. I think, the Mary Sue has a great article about it, just writing about how much they love it. Sam Jackson's promoting it, so people still are knowing about this movie. But man, I don't know. I want more.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's facts. I mean, it is bittersweet because, like you said, the movie came out 20 years ago now at this point, plus 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said about when movies take too long to follow up, and building off of that buzz that it had initially. One of the things I think, though, is good about now is that there are times when movies are brought back that are done well, or when I think it'll be done right. If it's done, it can be done right as long as they don't try too hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
No, I got you. Yeah.
If the studios don't try too hard to make it a thing, and just, have good marketing behind it, good advertising behind it, of course, good, action and good directing and all that good stuff. But, and of course, hands down, has to be a good script. I think you can definitely bring the movie back, bring the franchise back and bring new life to it, because I feel like what they started with and what they ended with is good enough to be built off of and be built upon, right?
Absolutely.
And like I said, it's one of my top 5 like 90s action movies like of all time. So I just hope that Sam Jackson, if you're out there, if you're listening, please make this movie happen. Make it happen. I mean, even if you have to do it in like a slow trickle, start off with like I said, a graphic novel or a comic book of some sort. More so a graphic probably would be the way to go. Because a comic, I don't think you would be able to, make that happen. But a graphic could definitely happen. And where we pick up, on the misadventures of Hennessy and Baltimore. I think that could be the title of it, Hennessy and Baltimore.
Yeah.
It could be a good series to kickstart the franchise or kickstart the property again, and kind of also be a thing to kind of give the series, or give the movie a more meat, I guess you could say, or more backstory. Shit, I mean, hell, I might do it my damn self. Like,
do it. Get a treatment going, man.
Yo, like, I'm literally thinking of all the things like you delve into with these characters, like giving her a backstory, building Charlie's backstory, building Sam's backstory, the places you can go with that, like the things you could do with that. Oh my God. And then like the after of it, right? Like, and have that opening story be kind of just like, this is the backstory to Charlie, to Baltimore and Hennessy, right? Or Hennessy and Baltimore, whatever you want to call it. Like, we could find out what she was doing before the movie, what her training was leading up to the movie, and how much of a badass she was out in these streets. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it could be so dope.
Well, dude, thank you for joining me, man. This was a lot of fun. Like, we got a lot of stuff to think about now, so I love it.
Yo, dude, every time I enjoy doing these with you, I appreciate it. And again, shout out to all the listeners who have been just tuning in to my episodes. That's what's up. That's really dope. I appreciate it. And yeah, man, I love talking movies with you. It's fun.
Yeah, we'll pick the next one. We'll just come up with an idea. Shoot me some messages, dude. I'll do whatever you want.
All right, I'm down. Let's do it. I think. Oh, and real quick, can I end on like three movie recommendation, female protagonist, badass?
Yeah.
Situation.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to hear it.
All right, so I think most of y'all who've heard me on this podcast before know Villainous is one of my favorite action female-led movies. So check that out if you haven't. It's a South Korean movie. Excuse me. Second one is Hannah. Hannah is a pretty old movie at this point, but there's an Amazon show that has been made recently within the last 2 years or so, I think.
Yep.
Hannah is definitely another dope movie you should check out if you haven't. I'm pretty sure most of you probably listen have probably watched the movie by now at this point, but if you haven't, definitely check it out. Do yourself a favor. The third one, I think, and now the movie was kind of lauded, maybe, I guess. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a interesting take on like an alien movie situation. The Scarlett Johansson movie where she takes the drugs. She's like the
Lucy.
Mule. Lucy, yes. I just like, now granted, like, now people are going to nitpick about the science and how the science is accurate and all this other kind of, but I just thought the concept was pretty dope, and I liked how, she went from this, drug mule, defenseless girl to this like higher being, life form, using 100% of her brain to annihilate the world. So I just thought they're fun. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't watch it for like character development or nothing like that crazy, but I thought it was a fun female-led protagonist movie. And of course, there's others. Atomic Blonde is also a dope movie. I enjoyed it as well. It's up there in the honorable mentions, but check them out if you haven't already. And I'll end it with that.
Yours are perfect. I love all those movies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Kiyon, this is Movie Songs and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Oh, and shameless plug. Check out my Instagram photography, Illadel PA Photog. That's ILLADELPAPHOTOG on Instagram. Peace.
I'll tag that when I release the episode.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, man.